Hi, I'm Mark Allen Lovewell. I'm a sea shanty singer and storyteller from Martha's Vineyard. And I'm going to share with you a three-part series here. This is the third part. Recently, you probably saw 1 and you saw 2. This episode, part 3, begins with something that you all enjoy. We all enjoy together. And that is our love for lighthouses. So join with me for a few minutes and enjoy the stories and songs that all of them have a great, deep connection to Martha's Vineyard. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this. How many of you like lighthouses? I'm going to ask you again. I want everybody raising it. You can't be on a ship and not like a lighthouse. Let's do this. How many of you like lighthouses? And I know Katie gave a little talk last night about it, right? Am I correct? And we love Katie, don't we? She's a very special lady. Thank you. See? See? We heard that. We all love Katie. We think she's a sweetheart. And Martha's Vineyard. You traveled around this island, you saw this island, 100 square mile island, twice the size of Nantucket, 4 times bigger than Manhattan, and we have 5 lighthouses. Now, why do you think we have 5 lighthouses? The tourism industry. That's why we have 5 lighthouses. Somebody tell me I'm lying, would you? We have 5 lighthouses for one simple reason.
Ships keep wrecking.
Thank you. You're saying it a little more harsh than I would. I would say we want to keep the ships off the beach. That's the way I would say it. You're just as accurate, but I say it in a softer, more gentleman way. We want to keep the ships off the beach. 5 lighthouses sounds like a lot. Did you see any of them? Did you see any of them today? We love lighthouses. We love our lighthouses. Now, I know you do too, and Christmas comes around and you get a Christmas card in the mail, and you open it up and it says, oh my God, there's a lighthouse with all these snowflakes falling down. Don't you go, oh. Am I right? Don't you go, oh. And then somebody gives you a calendar for Christmas and you go flipping through the pages. Oh, there's a lighthouse in July. Am I right? You don't have to be living in a coastal community to have an appreciation for lighthouses. Am I correct? Correct. Now you know the federal government they want to get rid of lighthouses. You know that, right? No. The economy is lousy for lighthouses these days. The federal government is trying to save money, and we're in favor of the federal government saving money, correct? Yes. We want to save money. Now, lighthouses are very expensive. You could go up to the pilot house and you find out, oh my God, they got GPS, they got all kinds. You pick out your iPhone, it tells you where you are. We don't need lighthouses anymore. They're too expensive. They get beat up by hurricanes, they fall apart. But you can't tell anybody on Martha's Vineyard, we're going to take your lighthouse and make it into an LED light. It doesn't go over very well. We love our lighthouses. In fact, all the lighthouses but one on Martha's Vineyard have been taken over locally. We love our lighthouses. You can't tell somebody on Martha's Vineyard, we're going to take down your lighthouse. And I know that we're not unique. You go up and down the coast, there are communities all along the coast who are saying to the government, we'll take them over. And on Martha's Vineyard, some of you may have even seen last winter, there was a movie, there was a program on CBS News about the moving of the Gay Head Light. Did anybody see that movie? We spent over $3 million, we spent $3 million to move a lighthouse 150 feet away from the edge of a cliff. He moved it inland. And this is significant for a small town community where their annual budget alone, the budget to run government, is only $1 million. They raised $3 million just to move that lighthouse. And the government's not, we're not spending that kind of money. But you can't tell that to people who love that gay headlight. And the second song I sang for you tonight actually made reference to the gay headlight. Part of the great function of government in the early years was the building of lighthouses, because commerce is essential to the movement of a country, the growth of a country. In the days before asphalt roads, in the days before Route 95, ships traveled from New York to Boston. Many ships. And they came right into this harbor right here called Vineyard Haven. Now you're looking out of Vineyard Haven and you say, oh my God, there's a ferry boat coming in and out, and maybe there's a little tugboat over there, and all those little sailboats, all those pretty sailboats, right? 150 years ago, this harbor was so different. There were hundreds of schooners all tied up and anchored and whatever. They'd come in to get out of the fog. We have lighthouses on our waters because we needed to help this country do its business. Ships going up and down the coast, going up and down, carrying everything. You can't say, no, they did it by horse and buggy. You can't say that. You can't put a horse through a trip from New York to Boston. Yeah, okay, they could take the train, but I tell you the most economic way to go from New York to Boston was by ship. And a young lady sitting out on a porch looking over the Vineyard Sound in the 1800s. We know this as fact. She kept a diary. She said, today, I'm going to count how many ships I see going up Vineyard Sound. Now let me tell you about Vineyard Sound. Vineyard Sound was the second busiest channel in the world. Second only to the English Channel. How many ships did she count in one day? 200. 200 ships going up and down Vineyard Sound. And the other thing is that we didn't just have lighthouses, we had lightships. You look out here on the waters and you see a little blinking green light or a little white light or out there on a little buoy bouncing up and down at the edge of a shoal. 150 years ago, they had lightships. When you went to Nantucket, did anybody tell you about the Lightship Baskets over there? Oh my God, there's a wonderful story. Look it up. Look it up someday when you have some time. Lightships were the buoys of today. They would actually have a ship half the length of this one sitting out on a shoal year in and year out, hurricane, blizzards, whatever, with a crew aboard, and their principal job was to light a lantern, because they hadn't yet invented batteries. They hadn't yet invented light bulbs. It's an amazing story. Some of those buoys are called, some of those lightships were called Hens and Chickens. One was, you could look that up. Vineyard Sound. Some of them are amazing heritage of weathering terrible hurricanes, all hands lost, or that we all know the story about the Titanic hitting an iceberg. But did you know that her sister ship ran into a buoy ran into a lightship off of Nantucket and killed all hands on board by accident, because they hadn't yet invented radar. They just knocked her right off. So that is the longest introduction you've ever heard for a song. Poor Dan. You okay, Dan? Great. He's so good. We'll make Dan's okay. This is a funny song, okay? You like funny songs, right? Sure. This is your song, okay? I'm expecting you to jump right in. That's right. Because we already did it. Now, this is another one of those verses where you got to pay attention, because I'm only going to do the first verse once. My father was a keeper of the Eddystone Light, and he slept with a mermaid one fine night. From this union there were three, a porpoise, a porgy, and the other was me. Yo-ho-ho. Everybody say, oh. Oh, the wind blows free, all for the life of the rolling sea. One night I was sitting upon the glim, singing a verse from the evening hymn, when a voice from the starboard shouted, ahoy! And there was my mother. She was sitting on a buoy. Yo-ho-ho, help me out. Oh, the wind blows free, all for the life of the rolling sea. So what has happened to my children three? My mother, she then said to me, well, one was exhibited as a talking fish, the other was served on a chafing dish. Yo-ho-ho, help me out. Oh, the wind blows free, all for the life of the rolling sea. Well, the phosphorus flashed in my mother's hair. I turned to look, and she wasn't there. But a voice came shouting out of the night, to hell with the keeper of the Eddystone Light! Oh, the wind blows free, all for the life of the rolling sea. How you doing? Are you all okay? What time is it? What time is it now? 9:30. 9:30. Oh my gosh, we've already gone through an hour. What do you think? Did you handle 2 songs?
Oh yeah.
How about 2 songs? I want to sing a song. You like funny songs, I think, right? Now, I was just talking to you about Vineyard Haven, right? And how ships would come and go. An amazing story about this harbor, about this port of call where ships came in and went. And I mentioned, you know, that lady counting 200 ships in one day. In your whole cruise, I don't think you're going to see 200 ships. Shipping is so different today. It's mostly recreational boating, I think, in these waters, because we do so well at loading up trucks and loading up cars and moving things around. And ships, it's interesting to hear living on an island, because every once in a while people complain about our ferry system. We have a ferry boat that leaves almost every hour during the day. And we have a lousy day, we have weather that's terrible and whatever, and oh my gosh, somebody gets all upset. Well, that boat was canceled and life is terrible, and oh my God, this is terrible, and this and that. And I sort of think to myself, wow, it's amazing how far we've come. Oh, I have a doctor's appointment in Woods Hole, I have to be somewhere, whatever, and their lives are so altered when a ferry boat can't go because it's blowing 50, 60 miles out there, and it's upsetting somebody because they can't make their appointment or can't do the thing that they need to do. Today is so different in our world because we don't have to grow our groceries. We got all these foods that fast food come over, but in the earliest years of Martha's Vineyard, it was sustenance. You lived on what you grew, what you harvested, and what you fished for. What an amazing story for an island. And these are the stories that I grew up with and heard. I want to share with you a song that is absolutely amazing to me. And you're going to sit back or later tonight and you're going to say, that was a really nice song. Why don't we hear those kind of songs anymore? And the reason, as I said earlier, was that we don't write those kind of songs anymore. It's not that they're bad songs. It's just that our world advances so quickly and fast, so quickly, and people don't have the attention span they have. This is a song that belongs on Saturday Night Live, but it will never be on Saturday Night Live. This is a song that's better than some of the songs you hear on Saturday Night Live. And this was a song that was sung... This is a song that was sung by a man named Zeb Tilton, who was a captain of a schooner that used to be right here in Vineyard Haven Harbor called the Alice S. Wentworth. And she was the last of the coastal schooners that went up and down the coast, transporting granite and wood and timber, just like you would use an 18-wheeler today. She went up and down the coast. And Zeb Tilton was a distinguished man, a tall man. And he was beloved. And his ship was beloved. In fact, he sang sea shanties and told stories. And he actually performed at Radio City Hall. He was very well regarded. Now, to give you a sense of it, he died 2 months before I was born. So I don't even know the guy. But yet his family, the Tilton family, is part of a big chunk of Martha's Vineyard. And in the last song I'm going to sing for you, I'm going to pay a tribute to the Tilton family. But this song, you need to pay attention to the words of this song because it's funny. And it has a chorus, too. You're going to sing it with me. Oh, yes. Or you could speak it. My grandmother, she, at the age of 93, one day in May was taken sick and died. And as soon as she was dead, why, the will, of course, was read by a lawyer as we stood by her side. To my brother it was found she had left 100 pounds. The same unto my sister I declare. But when it came to me, why, the lawyer says he, Granny's left you that old armchair. Oh, how they tittered and how they laughed, how my brother and my sister laughed when they heard that lawyer declare, Granny's left you that old armchair. There you go. Well, I thought it hardly fair. Still I said, I do not care. And when evening came, I took the chair away. Oh, the neighbors at me chaffed, and my brother at me laughed. He says, Mark, you'll find it handy someday. When you settle down in life and you have yourself a wife, you'll find it very handy, I declare. On a cold and frosty night, when the fire is burning bright, you can sit in Granny's old armchair. Oh, how they tittered and how they laughed, how my brother and my sister laughed when they heard that lawyer declare, now Granny's left you that old armchair. What my brother said came true. For in a year or two, strange to say, I settled down in married life. Oh, first a girl I did court, you know, and then I bought her a ring. I took her to the church. She became my wife. Now you may guess that we were happy as could be, for when my work was over, I declare, oh, I never abroad would roam, but instead, I'd stay at home and be seated in Granny's old armchair. Oh, how they tittered and how they laughed, how my brother and my sister laughed when they heard that lawyer declare, now Granny's left you that old armchair. All right, now we're on the kicker verse, the last verse. This is where you get your money's worth. One night, the chair fell down. When I picked it up, I found the seat had fallen out upon the floor. And there, to my surprise, in a pile before my eyes, were a lot of notes, 10,000 pounds or more. When my brother heard of this, well, I must confess, with rage he went nearly wild, he tore his hair. And all I could say to him was, hey, Brother Jim, don't you wish you had Granny's old armchair? Oh, how they tittered and how they laughed, how my brother and my sister laughed when they heard that lawyer declare, well, Granny's left you that old armchair. Well, Granny's left you that old armchair. Was that fun tonight? Yes. Thank you. We also thank Dan. What a good man. Yay, Dan! I am lousy at promoting myself. I have so many people come up to, I'm so lucky. I'm so fortunate. I'll tell you one more story before we do the last song. The New Bedford Whaling Museum. Did anybody go there? Yeah. Well, 10 years ago, they had me go on a tour. I went to Hawaii, and I went to Alaska. And I went with some of the best storytellers of American tradition, heritage for New England. I went with Tobias Vanderhoop, a wonderful man from Aquinnah, telling stories. He told stories about the Wampanoag tribe. I told stories about the New England whalemen, and we together shared the history. Because our connection together as a nation is really about all these different parts that are connected in different ways. We're not like the Middle East where everybody's trying to kill each other or hurt each other or whatever like that. We're actually similarly, but we are a way where we tolerate each other's differences. And this tour that I took to Hawaii, this tour that I took to Alaska, was about connecting the story. Now, we all know that whalemen went to Hawaii. Whalemen from New England went to Hawaii. I'll tell you one more story. Anyway, I was in Anchorage, Alaska. Anybody been to Anchorage? Raise your hand. You probably know the shop, Scrimshaw. They had Scrimshaw on it. Lady behind the counter, she says, "Oh, you're from Martha's Vineyard." That voice sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's where I got their voice. "Oh, that's where Martha Stewart lives." I knew that for the rest of my life I was going to be telling stories about Martha's Vineyard that I knew. But then I was up in Barrow, Alaska. Anybody know about Barrow, Alaska? Anybody been to Barrow, Alaska? That's the northernmost place you can go in the United States without getting your feet in the icy water. Tiny little town. No trees, no brush, no foliage. It's all snow. Well, I'm a little worried about it now with the global warming, what is there now. But I was up there and I performed in the Newport Heritage Center up there, and there was a lady behind the counter, a very beautiful lady, and I don't remember her last name, but I wrote it down. Her first name was Maud. And she says, "Oh, you're from Martha's Vineyard." Now, I'm there telling my whaling stories, and she says, "Oh, you're from Martha's Vineyard. My great-great-grandfather was a Vincent from West Tisbury," which means that whalemen just weren't hunting whales when they were up in Alaska. So these are living, breathing stories. Now, this is my last song because you got to go to bed. And poor Dan's getting tired. This is a song. I always finish my concerts with this song. It's called Rolling Home, and it's an amazing melody. You're going to love this song. Song is well over 150, maybe 200 years old. It's a whaling song. And I learned it from a man named Gale Huntington who lived in Vineyard Haven. He was a man who had multiple talents. He was a teacher at the Tisbury High School. He was a co-founder of the Intelligencer, a publication of the Martha's Vineyard Museum. If any of you were in Eggertown, you might have seen the Gale Huntington Library. They named the library after him. He collected sea shanties. Sea shanties. He wrote them down. He met the men who could remember them, and he wrote them down. And he was a personal friend of mine. And his wife, Mildred, was the nephew of Zeb Tilton of the song that I just sang you. Niece. That would be the niece. She was the niece of Zeb Tilton. So this is totally connected. All this family of islanders, we're all connected. And Gail and Mildred said to me, "Mark, sing sea shanties. Nobody else is singing sea shanties." They knew about my love for the sea, and they knew that I sang sea shanties, but he said, "Sing them." Now, it's not true. You go to Mystic Seaport, they're singing sea shanties. You go to the San Francisco Maritime Museum, they're singing them. But he said, "Sing those sea shanties." Now, you know in your own life, maybe some of you have heard of the Lomax Brothers, the Lomax family. During the Depression, were commissioned by the federal government to go up and down the Appalachian Mountains and collect the folk songs. There was a worry, there was a concern that folk songs would be lost. See, she's nodding her head, he knows. Carl Sandburg, how many of you know Carl Sandburg? He went around, he came out with a book called The American Song Bag, a collection of folk songs, many of them that you know today because they were carried through the years. So Gail said to me, "Mark, sing these songs." So I always dedicate my last song to him as a tribute to him and Mildred for their inspiration in telling me what to do. And you're going to love this song. 3 months from now, you're going to wake up at 3 in the morning, you're going to say, "Oh my God, that song's coming back." Because it's a beautiful song. Call all hands, man the capstan, see the cable running clear, heave away, and with a will, boys, for New England we do steer. Rolling home, try that. Rolling home across the sea, rolling home to dear New England, rolling home near God to thee. Fare thee well, ye Spanish maidens, it is time to bid adieu. Happy times we've spent together, happy times I've spent with you. Rolling home. Help me now. Rolling home across the sea. Rolling home to dear New England. Rolling home, dear God, to thee. Round Cape Horn, one frosty morning, and the sails were full of snow. Tighten those sheets and pull in those halyards. Let her off and let her go. Rolling home across the sea. Rolling home to dear New England. Rolling home, dear God, to thee. All right, we're on the last verse, my last song. I call this Last Call. If any one of you have been reluctant about participating in singing sea shanties tonight, this is last call. Because I have a strong understanding that when you go to Block Island tomorrow, nobody is going to be singing sea shanties for you. So this is your last chance, last call. Many thousand miles behind you, many thousand miles to go. The ocean lifts her waves to bring us to that well-remembered shore. Rolling home across the sea. Rolling home to Martha's Vineyard. Rolling home, near God to thee. Thank you.